It's Monday, and that means it's time for a new episode of Interviewing People, the career cast where you can learn about a variety of careers from people actually doing the work. Today I'll be talking with Abbie Mingus Doan, who once walked these halls but is now a Senior Marine Mammal Trainer at the Indianapolis Zoo. Abbie will be sharing about her path to becoming an animal trainer and much more, so enjoy the show. So welcome back to another episode of Interviewing People, and today we have Abbie Doan with us, and she is a senior animal trainer at the Indianapolis Zoo. So she's going to be talking a little bit about what she does in that career and what a marine biology major could do in addition to what she's currently doing. So Abbie, thank you very much for joining us today. And I guess I'd love for you to just start out by talking a little bit about how did you decide that you wanted to go into marine biology?
I think a lot of it started because I had never seen the ocean. You know, I had watched National Geographic and Discovery Channel, and living in the Midwest my whole life, it was such a curiosity to me that then I just became kind of obsessed with it. And I learned everything I could about the ocean, and dolphins were like my thing. I would draw them all the time in my notes. Like, it was just dolphins all the time. And as I got older, I was very fortunate that my parents were supportive. They didn't know what to tell me. And Van Buren didn't know what to tell me. They're like, I don't know. You live in cornfields. Like, I don't know. So I was very fortunate that people were very supportive and helped me kind of figure out what to do with all that passion that I had for the ocean. So I don't know really where it came from, other than my brain was just like, I just want to know everything about it. And then it just kind of spiraled from there.
Right. Have you always felt like science was the area that you really excelled in school, or?
Yeah. I was always interested in all things sciencey. I just dug into all that stuff. I love not just ocean stuff. I mean, I loved anatomy and physiology. I loved animal stuff. I loved plants. Anything science, I just couldn't get enough of. So, I think that kind of worked out too.
So how did you decide to go to BGSU? Did you look at other schools that were on the coasts, close to water? Was Lake Erie something that because we're close to that BGSU does work there? I guess I wouldn't think of BGSU as a marine biology hotbed. Mm-hmm. So how did you choose that school, and what impacts did that have on you?
I looked on the coast. I looked at Texas A&M. I was pretty sure that's where I was going to go. But then as it came time to figure out that was going to cost some money, in-state seemed like a much better option. And really, I had no idea, but Bowling Green and Ohio University both had marine science programs. Who knew? But I visited Bowling Green, and they had an actual marine lab. So they had like 40 aquariums that students could help take care of, and you learn a lot about animal husbandry. They didn't have a marine biology major at the time. They were in the works of making a specialization. So they have Dr. Mike McKay, who is a marine biologist, and he was helping to oversee that program and get that kind of going. And they do a lot of freshwater biology, of course, on the Great Lakes. Lake Erie is an awesome resource, and the same things that you would do in freshwater science, you would still apply for marine science. And then they also had a conjunction with the university down in Mississippi, and they would do, you could take courses there and get BG credit. So it kind of just perfect that they had that developing program going, and it was very close to home, and I loved it. I would recommend it to everyone. And I think now it is an actual specialization that you can get. I don't think it's a degree, but I believe it's a biology with a specialization in marine science.
Okay. So did you actually go down to Mississippi to take some classes, or were those classes online, or how did that work?
Students did go. I did not take any of those courses. By the time it came time for me to decide what I wanted to do, I was really into the animal husbandry aspect. So I did internships and volunteering and stuff with with animal care positions. But if someone wanted to study marine biology, I would definitely recommend that they do take some of those courses, because they're going out on boats. There were, shark biology classes, there were marine mammal classes, there was all kinds of things that they would do actual field work. We had a professor who he studied in the Outer Banks, and he grew up in the Outer Banks in North Carolina. So I did go there for a trip, and we applied some of the stuff that we learned. And that was just kind of all condensed in a week's time. But yeah, by the time I decided what I wanted to do, it just didn't apply really to me to go down there, but it was an awesome resource, and I believe they still do it.
Right. So you've mentioned husbandry a few times, and can you just explain what that means?
Yeah, that's just taking care of something. So taking care of animals. So anything that's involved in their actual things that, cleaning their environment, feeding them, training them, which is a little different than like veterinary care. Like I do some tasks that help aid the veterinarians, and I can do things like collect voluntary medical samples and things like that. But my main job is to take care of them directly every day. And that's kind of, husbandry is the all-encompassing kind of term.
Okay. So in 2007, you did an internship with the Navy in their marine mammal program. And can you talk a little bit about how you found out about that, how you became involved with that, and what you did in that internship?
Sure. I got involved with that through the university. So another one of my classmates, she had found out about it somehow. So she actually did it the year before I did, the summer before I did. And so it was an amazing internship. We were out in San Diego, and we had to get like super security clearance. It felt like super cool. We got to go and get like the little special badge. But they train a lot of animals to help with some tasks. So they have dogs that they train. And then of course the Navy is going to be involved with aquatic environments. So dolphins and sea lions can do some tasks just like you would have a dog, an assistance dog do. So nothing like dangerous. There's like a lot of things out there where it's like they go and set off bombs. That's not what they do. But they're trained to detect if maybe there's an enemy diver in the area. They can use sonar, and sea lions have low light vision. So just using their adaptations to the environment to help the Navy. So I just got to kind of see the animal trainers aspect of that, like how you would condition them, how you would do that training for something that's pretty complex, so it was just a really neat perspective on training that not a lot of people get a chance to see, but yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, San Diego is a great place to be too. So.
Yes.
So when you finished college in 2008, it looks like you went directly to the Indianapolis Zoo. Were there a lot of openings for positions like yours as an animal trainer, or was that something that was pretty scarce and it worked out well that you were able to go to Indianapolis? How did that work?
So the timing was kind of perfect. So after the summer after I graduated, I actually did an internship here at the zoo. So those positions, we typically have about 4, maybe 5 intern spots in the summer. And those can get pretty competitive, but there are at least 4 or 5 positions every summer, and those are 12-week program. And then I completed my internship, went back home, volunteered at Toledo for a little bit, and then luckily I was fresh enough in their minds that when a position opened up, some of the trainers called me and they were like, hey, you should put in your resume, like we're going to get in here. So having an actual paid position is pretty sparse, especially in the Midwest, because, those of us who are here, we're not here for the scenery. We're here because our families are nearby. I would love to live in California and Florida, but I love my family, so they're here. But so yeah, those of us who are here, we typically stay for a while.
Yeah.
So really it was just timing.
Okay. How many trainers are there at the Indianapolis Zoo?
I believe there are 14 of us right now. Yeah,
Okay.
we take care of 12 dolphins, 7 sea lions, and 2 gray seals.
Okay. And it looks like there's a seating area back there that you guys have daily shows.
Yep.
And
So that's
you are the one who's doing the training to get the animals to do what they need to do and so
Yep.
forth. Yeah.
Yep. So we do public presentations, and then we that's like our time to showcase the animals, and then the rest of the day we're working on training and vet checkups and just things like that.
Right. How long does it take to train, say, a dolphin to do something?
It depends. It depends mostly on the person. The dolphins are super smart. It's usually, if they're taking a while, we usually give ourselves a 6-month time frame to train something. And if it's taking longer than that, then we kind of get together and be like, what am I doing wrong? What am I not communicating to the dolphin? So we use these whistles, and we train them that when we blow the whistle, that means good job. So we really just use little baby steps to train some things. You have to blow your whistle at the right time, and if they're whistling while they're wiggling their flipper, they might be like, well, which thing did she want? And then they might go off on a tangent, and be doing something else. So I would say on average, it probably takes, about a month or so, and like I said, beyond that, then you start to question like what's going on, or if it's something that's just not compatible with what they want to do. They all have likes and dislikes too. So if it's clear that it's, like Nova, she's one of our dominant females. She doesn't love to flip around. It's important for her to have exercise and get that body movement. But if she doesn't want to do a front flip, like what's the point, then let's find another way to move her body around. So that can be a good way for them to communicate to us, like, I don't really want to do that. Well, thanks.
Now, if someone ended up with a marine biology degree, didn't want to do the animal husbandry or the training and so forth, what are some other options that someone could do with a marine biology degree?
So there's a lot of things. Of course, you could do the research route. So, research from the smallest organisms up to the largest organisms. I know a lot of marine biologists go into kind of a consultant role for some companies who may want to see like what kind of impact are we going to have on the environment. Then we can consult an expert who might know, working for something like the EPA or something like that. But I think it just kind of depends on what the interest is of the individual. But it's a big environment, and there's so many aspects of it that a biologist in general can really kind of go in any direction.
Right. Very cool. So we've talked about branding in our classes, about how people can take control of how others see them. And, the fact that you went straight from college into your position, well, I guess you did have the internship in there and you did a little bit at Toledo.
Yeah.
I guess, what do you feel like you've done as a marine biologist and as an animal trainer to show your value to, the Indianapolis Zoo there as when you were an intern, so that they said, yeah, we want to hire her. We need Abbie Doan as a trainer at our zoo?
I think the first thing that helps set you apart is to have a well-rounded resume. So getting experience as early on as possible. So a lot of zoos, you can't get experience until you're 18 because, you're working directly with animals. It's their collection. But things like the Humane Society, just showing your employer that you don't mind picking up poop and doing all the nitty gritty stuff, because it's not just, like, ta-da, like we're doing all this wonderful stuff. Like, my job's gross. I stink. I'm covered in fish every day. And just showing that, like, this is somebody who's going to be okay with that, doing the not so glamorous part of the job. Being very flexible is important for an animal trainer. I have a set schedule, but the dolphins may not. They may get sick. They may need extra attention. They may have a baby. They may, and they have to eat every day of the year. So being able to be a little bit flexible with your schedule, it's important to prioritize, your own mental health and your family life and find that balance. But being able to be like, I understand that I won't have every Christmas at home. They have to eat on Christmas. I will feed them on Christmas. So we take turns. Being a good team player and just being open-minded, I think, is something that we've found really valuable for our team, that we have set ways that we do things, but we are also good about being like, well, if somebody has a different idea, let's try to integrate that a little bit. So just kind of being in a dynamic team atmosphere is important because we're all 12, 14 of us taking care of the same animals that we have to be a united front, and ebb and flow to make sure we're taking the best care of them. So I think just being pleasant to be around is certainly helpful. An employer to want to have you there because the days can be kind of stressful, especially if something's going on with the animals. You know, it can be a little bit stressful. So we're a little family around here. So being able to fit into a team is probably the most important thing, apart from getting a night, getting your skills and getting your resume rounded out, doing a lot of volunteering, internships, that kind of thing. That's what we've found anyway.
So do you remember for your shadow day at Van Buren, did you do something related to marine biology?
I went to a vet clinic.
Okay.
Yeah, because at the time I was like, I don't know what to do. I didn't even think of the zoo, at that time, because I just knew marine biology and I knew ocean. That's all I could think of. And going back, I would have contacted the zoo and done something up there.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So as we start to wrap up here, a few more fun questions. What's your favorite marine animal?
The dolphin, for sure. I love all the weird animals. I love a little marine worm. I love coral. I love, I love plankton, but like, I don't know. There's something about these dolphins that get me every time. So they're just so charismatic. They're all so different. They have favorite people, which I think is kind of fun. We certainly don't have favorites, wink, but they have favorite people too. So they're just so funny all the time. And I mean, they really are like, we always say that when I think of, so like my not favorite dolphin is Jet, and, but I don't think of him as a dolphin necessarily. I think of him as Jet. Like they become so integrated as part of your family. You're with them all the time that just having that little bond with him, it's hard to beat a dolphin.
Yeah, that's cool. What's the most difficult animal you've tried to train?
That is a good question. A person, honestly.
Yeah, I guess we're all mammals. So.
Yeah. Oh man, that is a good question. I mean, I've had some like challenging behaviors that have made me have to think a little bit. Most of my training experience has been with the dolphins and seals and sea lions. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I guess I could think of the more challenging ones is with Jet, I had a behavior in mind that I wanted to train. I wanted him to flip upside down and take his tail and splash the audience in a certain way. And so I was just trying to like communicate to him how I would like him to move his body and what I think, how this would work. And we weren't getting it with each other. And so he just started to do his own thing different than what I was doing. And it ended up being better. And I was like, that's great. So he trained me at that point. I was like, fine, because the outcome's still the same. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I've never really had like difficult, just challenging, but it's fun. It's kind of fun when it's challenging too.
Right. What's the best part about living in Indianapolis?
I do love Indianapolis. We have like our downtown isn't huge, but it is very vibrant. There's so much to do. Even being in here in the Midwest, we have like, it's very walkable. It's just a very nice, we have a little canal that runs through downtown. So we like to just go walk along that, and there's restaurants and things like that. It's just a nice little town. It's overall pretty safe, and it's close to Findlay. My parents still live there, so it's, within driving distance. And but yeah, all my friends are here, so I like it.
Very cool. So looking back now at all is there anything that you wish you had known as a teenager that you now know about your career?
I think just knowing that doing internships early on in college is a good way to figure out if this is something you really want to do. So if you think you want to take care of animals, the Toledo Zoo is a wonderful resource if you go to school nearby, and they have internship programs. Depending on what school you go to, there are usually scholarships for those internship programs. So I didn't know about that until I had already completed some. Once, as far as preparing for the career, that it is a lot of hard work. I don't make a whole lot of money, but I'm very happy. I'm fulfilled. I enjoy my job. I've been here for 13 years now, I guess. It is a devotion, of your life and time for not, big monetary outcome, but it has been worth it. But yeah, it's just kind of figuring it out early on, because marine biology is such a huge field. There's so many different things that you can do. So meeting with your advisors once you get to school, and you don't even have to go somewhere that has marine biology. I would say you can even go for a larger degree like biology and then kind of focus from there, because like I said, there's just so many facets of science that you may find that what you thought you wanted to do may not be what you wanted to do anyway.
Right,
So just doing a lot of like exploration early on, I think is something that would be useful. It worked out for me because I am happy, but you never know what you don't know.
Right. Well, Abbie, I really appreciate you giving up some time working with the dolphins and other animals. And I love that you have them swimming in the background, and just seems like a very relaxing place to be today. So
yes.
I hope that if any Van Buren graduates or people in the community, if they ever visit the Indianapolis Zoo, hopefully they'll try to touch base with you. And I greatly appreciate you sharing your insights about your career as a marine biologist. So thank you very much. And I hope that the rest of this summer will be a good one for you.
Yes, thank you. You too.
Thank you for watching this interview with Abbie Doan. And to be sure you don't miss upcoming interviews, please click subscribe so you'll know when the next episode is released. Thank you for watching. And as always, remember, the best part about Mondays is interviewing people.